Peace, related. I'm up here in the mountains of western North Carolina to report on the work of the Florida Center Disaster Rebuilders. And it's hard to believe that beautiful scenes like this led to incredible devastation, destruction, and death here just over a year ago when Hurricane Helene came through. Well, this spot is centrally located around several areas where the disaster rebuilders are working. I'm going to see what they're up to. We've all seen the heartbreaking images of damage caused by Hurricane Helene's remnants as historic rainfall caused raging flash floods and devastating landslides throughout western North Carolina. A little more than a year later, though, not as many people have witnessed the transformative work being done by leaders on the ground and volunteers from across the country, especially with the Fuller Center Disaster Rebuilders. They've helped thousands of disaster victims to rebuild their homes and their lives since Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast in 2005. Places like Florida, Texas, Mississippi, and more. But this area is unique, remote, mountainous, and populated by a hardy breed of self-reliant people unaccustomed to accepting help. Faith runs deep here, but there's also a healthy dose of skepticism when it comes to outsiders. But the disaster rebuilders are meeting those folks where they are, restoring hope one house at a time, and maybe restoring a little faith in their fellow Americans in the process. Nathan West is a local contractor who serves as the project manager for the disaster rebuilders, a position he accepted shortly after the immediate emergency abated. He has witnessed many transformations over the past year in the land, the housing, and its people.
It was really interesting in the first, I would say, probably 3 to 4 months because, mountain folk, which I am, aren't exactly trusting of outsiders. And so for the first 3 to 4 months, it was hard to get in. I mean, it was hard to even talk to people, us saying, hey, we'll come rebuild your home for you, and it's not going to cost you anything. We will take that burden off of you and rebuild this home. They're still thinking, yeah, there's something going on, right? And it took a while, and I think, thankfully, because of my connections in the community and because of our church and various other groups that I'm involved with, it made it a little easier to be able to get going.
These folks are hardy. I mean, if you live in these mountains, you have to be very self-sufficient. So the idea of having all these outsiders coming from all over the place and just wanting to step in and help, that's very, culturally, that's very different. They're used to pulling themselves up by the bootstraps and managing and getting by in any way that they can. So it's very disconcerting too for them to have to ask for help, to accept help, and to know who to let help them.
A lot of organizations came in at that time, especially the first 2 to 3 weeks. And everybody kept coming in and we're here to help. We're here to help. And that was great. But it felt like they were trying to plant their flag. And it was at a time when we were still pulling our neighbors out of debris piles and wondering if the child that we see standing there in the diaper at the end of the driveway had parents left or had eaten in the last 72 hours. And my response at that time to all the organizations coming in was, come back in 6 weeks. Come back in just a few weeks when we're not worried about survival and we can even begin to have the bandwidth to think about the future. Tony and Aaron was the only group that came back. Tony and Aaron with the Fuller Center Disaster Rebuilders was the only group that came back.
And one of the big things I hear is the Christians showed up. They came. Christians came to help from all over the country. And, didn't matter which denomination or type of Christian, just everybody came to help. And really renews the spirits of the locals too, that, the rest of the country cares.
And I think it's a great statement. Very few words about why we're doing it, but just that we're here because we care. And they see that Christians really not only talk the talk, but hopefully walk the walk. And that means a lot in our day and age.
I get the satisfaction of serving the Lord in His work, coming alongside, being His partner, and being able to deliver mercy and compassion to the people in these affected areas.
It's just astounding all that goes into doing it. They're managing so many different locations, so many different volunteer groups. You know, all those groups there's so much that happens just in a week that we're there, and this is happening all over the place. And it's incredible. Like, I have a hard time putting a patch in my own wall at home. So I'm just impressed. Impressed is the word that I think of a lot, you know.
Blessed. Just that we were able to make a difference in someone's lives, but the blessing that we receive and being able to help is almost unexplainable. It just is, your heart grows, you know, you want to do more to be able to help people like this.
They're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. In the beginning that this has happened, and the Samaritan people help us cleaning all of this mess. I lost everything. I cannot save any furniture or anything, cars, nothing. Doing good for my health. Now I start believe again in the Lord.
Completely overwhelming. I've probably met over 100 different volunteers. All been the sweetest people, and it's really nice to connect with people face to face and be able to tell them some of our story. I mean, everyone's just been wonderful. I keep saying this, but thank you is too small of a phrase. I need something bigger.
They're not only doing this hard work, but they're emotionally supported as well. And they love me. Like, I feel like they love me, and I love them.
Yeah, I always try to give thanks and gratitude to everybody that's come through, and I just had some customers who you probably met at our house right now. It sort of gives me a minute to pause and appreciate them coming here to support this. It's our whole life they've come to support, not just to work on a house or give up their free time. They come here on their holidays or to volunteer working on our house. It means a lot. So I hope to get to a point where I can do that for somebody else.
I keep thinking, what if we took care of each other this well all the time, not just after disaster, and that we see that it's possible after disaster.
We're not just helping them with a house, it's helping them with their life so they can move forward and get past this.
So we're at the point where we're moving from repairs to new construction, and that's always a turning point. Initially, you do a lot of repairs so you get people back into their houses quickly, and it gives people in the community hope that the community can rebuild. But then at some point you have to start from scratch and tear down maybe what was there and start building something new. That takes longer, it takes more time, it takes more money, but that's the next phase. So what I hope to see in the next year is that we build as many new houses as we've been able to repair in the last 12 months. And we trust God is moving in the hearts and souls of the people that are called to come and do this work. And I trust that you personally know whether or not God is moving you to do work like this, but don't let anything get in the way. Because if He's moving you towards this, don't worry about if you have enough skills. Don't worry about it, what's going to happen for things at home. God's going to take care of all that. Just like God's taking care of these homeowners who lost everything, God will take care of the people He calls to come and help them.
So that's just a little sampling of what we're doing here in Western North Carolina. The Fuller Center Disaster Rebuilders are still hard at work. Volunteers are still coming in, but there's so much more to do in this beautiful area with these wonderful people. They still need so much help, and they could use somebody like you to come down and show them God's love in beautiful Western North Carolina. Come join us.